Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mike,
I'm Duran.
and this is Before We Forget the podcast. So, Duran, before we forget, if you've been in a relationship for 4 years and you propose and she says no, are you staying with her?
I'm leaving.
You,
No
it's just
hesitation. I'm out.
you're not gonna let her
Nope.
explain or nothing.
Nope.
It's just a no.
Nope.
Why?
Because you wasting my time. About 4 to 5 years. 5 is my max. Before it was real low key. It's my soft pity for knowledge. You've been with me so long, so should have seen me be upset. We shouldn't have gotten into an argument, disagreement, anything that could possibly happen outside of stuff that happens together. You have seen this, and if you still don't know if I'm worthy enough to marry you, I don't care what the reason is. We're done. I'm not.
But what if it's not that you're not worthy enough? But what if it's that she still needs some work?
Too bad. Should have figured that out. You had time to do that when I met you. You go through stages of a relationship where everything is kosher and cool. You know, lovey-dovey phase. Remember? Oh, use your French fry. It's my French
everything.
fry.
The honeymoon.
Yeah. And then it comes to more serious. Like, oh, you gonna come over? Yeah, I'll be over after work. You know, this the flirty stage. Ooh, what you gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do. Ooh. Then after you go through that stage, it start becoming more like, all right, this what we doing. I like this person. We getting locked in. So it's like, all right, don't be talking to nobody else on the side, whatever. And you be like, well, you start testing the waters. Can I see your phone? Ooh, what's this? Oh, let me see. We on social media. Oh, did you claim me? Are you claiming me? Then it goes up. So it's level. So after all that testing and proving, after 4 years, if I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make this woman my wife or whatever, and then it's like a proposal is also like an extension and a double down on the relationship. So if you still ain't ready to double down with me after that, what am I doing here? You wasting my time. We don't have time to be doing that.
Okay, so would you rather her just say yes if she's not ready?
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should know. Both of y'all should know, because then it becomes like the show we talked about on the previous episode. Like, I'm giving you an ultimatum. You got to pick, because you're wasting time. Why are we sitting here doing this? What valid reason could she have to not want to marry me in 4 years?
Listen, I can't give you a reason,
So you would stay.
right? But I just feel like if just because she says no and you wouldn't hear her out at all, you wouldn't like, why not? None of that. You're just gonna be like, all right, well, it's done.
Yes, because I went out and spent this money, and I didn't embarrass myself for you to say no, or for you to feel it. So if you've been having doubts, this is something you should have been telling me beforehand. And it's not like you knew I was going to propose, but it's kind of like expected in the casual dating world, or it should be expected. Today's day and age, marriage is just throw it up in the air.
Is that not something you probably should have tested the waters on? Like, throw out like marriage or like,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You do all that stuff. You've been doing it. It's no one just goes out and buys them like, what, 4 years, 5 years, let me go buy a ring. You be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling, you know what I'm saying? You get to spin your game, popping your stuff, popping your collar, and she like, yeah, you like, all right, cool, she going. All right, I think it's time then. I'm gonna try to do right by you. And you try to hang your cleats up, and she done knocked the damn nail out the wall.
like, hold on. What you putting those up for?
Like, wait a minute. Like, so you don't want me to be faithful. And then that's also coming with a little bit of bias. I'm not gonna lie to you, because first and foremost, it's how many times have we been the good guy and got the short end of the stick?
Yeah.
Literally have heard a woman or a young lady, becoming a woman, tell me I was too nice for her.
Yep.
And she didn't want to date me because she felt like it would be boring. And that she said, "You a good guy, you great, you phenomenal, you funny, whatever, but you just not my type. So you want me to whoop you upside your head and call you names and be toxic so that you can feel some type of way. You want me to provide instability for you. Like, what kind of game is that?"
It's almost like it's very shady nowadays for them to call you a nice guy or a good guy. Like,
Or you pick up my phone with the expectancy of me to be cheating. You want to find females in here so that we can argue. Like, what is wrong? Who is teaching y'all? So that's why that's where the bias is coming from and why I feel so strongly about it. Because I'm like, it's been 4 years. If I'm not doing nothing, 4 years is not a short time.
It
That's
ain't. It ain't.
that's a lot of time investment. Like I didn't been in whatever career, wherever job I'm working at. This is starting to turn into a career. Because this is we reaching the halfway point. Celebrations get a little bit more epic when you get up there. So if jobs benchmark that, why can't I benchmark me trying to cuff you? If you're not ready, you should be giving me signs to say that. If you just want to fling, or you just you want your little stink, or you just want your little yeah, I can be that. But tell me that. Give me a disclaimer before we get here. Because if I go buy a ring and I'm like, yeah, let's do something, and then you publicly embarrass me like that, and then expect me to just come back and lick my wounds because you didn't invited your friends or some family, somebody to help you on this venture, right?
Yeah.
You out in a restaurant, you didn't told the restaurant to do something, or you doing something specifically tailored to make this memorable for that person and for you, and they tell you no. Like that's gotta you just oh man, the blowback from that is crazy.
See, and I'm playing devil's advocate because I wanted to hear like your full reasoning on it, right? And I'm right there with you. For me, like if I propose, then that means I obviously think we're at one level of our relationship, and you telling me no means that you don't think we're there, right? So at that point, our goals aren't aligning. So why am I sticking around, or why am I going to stay through this if our goals ain't aligning? And then second, for me, like I feel like before I propose, we're gonna have these conversations. I'm gonna make sure like we know where we going with all of this. We know
Right.
that we want to get married. We know what all we like, what the plan is all the way around. So for you to tell me no, just mean you ain't agreeing with the plan. You ain't sticking with what we have talked about already. But then number three, like my pride, man. I'm not gonna get down and ask you to take my last name and all of this, and then you tell me no, and then expect me to be like, okay, cool, let's go home and go to bed and act like none of this ever happened. Like that's the ultimate slap in the face for me.
I don't even smoke, but I gotta hit a black and mild after that.
You be sitting on the side of a gas station with cigarette. What's wrong, dog? She said no. She said no.
Yeah, I'm be hitting the black and mild, listening to Rich the Factor on the steps. Cause I don't know what else to do. I gotta save face somehow. Like I don't smoke, but I imagine myself doing something like that. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
No. And it's a new day and age. I'm not for that. Oh, the dude do all this and the man need to do this and that and the third. No, I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna stand on mine. But you got to do stuff to receive that. So if I'm trying to initiate this process with you and you already hit me with something like that, this marriage will never work.
None.
Never.
Not at all.
I'm not doing all that. Why would I need to go? I'm doing the work now. You want me to do all the work forever and you just get to sit back and chill? Who does that? Then that gives face to rest in peace to him, Kevin Samuel, saying you got to pay to play. So people pay to play. They set themselves up for pay to play, and then you got your people who don't want to do that. They just want to have the traditional family, and you choose family over expense, which is traveling or going somewhere and living life, being fancy, doing the finer things in life.
Yeah.
You got to pick. And I explained that to one of my female friends. I was like, look, technically you already chose the family because you didn't go and get a career that you wanted. You got a career that you like and you do it, but you mix it with being a mom so that you can enjoy your family. You didn't go out and go to Abu Dhabi and like Hawaii and you flying all over and jet skiing and jumping out of airplanes and staying on the 200th floor of a hotel, stuff like that. So you had to give something up, right?
That's true.
You can't have both. And this is something that we covered, but it goes back into vetting who you want to be in a relationship with. So in order to even get to that decision, you got to pass the preliminary stages, and that's the engagement phase.
See, and I think that right now there are billions of people in the world, and thousands of them have enough money to be able to do both. Right? So I want you to really think about that percentage. Like probably 1% of everybody in the world has enough money to be able to have kids and still do the vacations and do all this other stuff that they want. Why? Because they hire nannies and they hire all of this, and they're
Right.
not really hands on with their family like they should be.
Right. So then you sacrifice. That's like a second stage of sacrificing where you still there. You make sure they not without, but you not there. So you're still doing the things you want to do, but you make sure your kids got this level of, you know, what you call it, level of normalcy. So they got breakfast, lunch, dinner, school paid for, the car. They got people to pick them up, drop them off, and they can call you. You wire them money, send them money, whatever. You come back, they see you, y'all, you take them on a trip and then y'all go back and you fly a lot of places. But that could be a lot on a kid because the kid don't care nothing about that. It's been said best that children remember the memories.
Yeah.
It's not about the money you spend, it's about what you did. So if you sat down and watched Barney with them, or they gotta move it up. You sat down and watched Coco Melon with them every day, they
My
gonna
boy
remember
took it
that
to the
versus you
90s.
going to go buy some Nikes or some Jordans for them. Plain and simple. Even the older kids, they gonna remember the time that you took them out to the waterfall,
Or to the movies.
or they saw
yeah.
you and your mom, their mom doing something, and it was just special. It's ingrained in their mind.
Yeah.
So that just further proves that theory. But in order to get there, we got to get a yes. And if you don't know what you want now, you got all your life to be telling me you don't know what you want to eat. But like, you gonna tell me
Shade.
no? I'm trying to marry you. Like, just thinking about it now, bro, is like giving me the what you call it? The kids these days call it the ick. I don't like it.
Look, I told my wife if she would have said no, like, that would have been it. I'm kind of with you. Like, I told her from the get go, like, a man knows what he wants, right? And he knows whether he wants to marry a woman or not. It should not take 5 years, more than 5 years, to say, yeah, I want to marry you.
Because then people get, okay,
They get comfortable.
people get to the engagement stage and then they spend 10, 15 years there. At that point, get a ring back. They don't want you.
They get comfortable.
They don't want you because you feel like, well, we living in now. Ain't no rush in paying for this ceremony. No, pay for the ceremony is show everybody that you want to be with this woman. It's the same thing as baptism. Being baptized doesn't cleanse you of a sin. It's just a public showing that you giving your life to God. So that's what the ring is doing. It's a public showing of, I chose this woman. We happy. She accepted. The families are being united. It's a celebration. And sometimes I look at other cultures and how they do marriage, and it's just like such a beautiful thing the way they do it. It just seems so much more sincere, right?
Yeah.
Where they come and the grandmas and all that.
The whole family's celebrating them.
Like they go crazy, and it's good to see that. But you get ours, and it's just the standard, generic.
It's about who can spend the most money. But now let me ask you one more question because we got about a minute and a half left, right?
Right.
So does it change if she says yes, but she wants to keep her last name?
Yes. That's an automatic no for me.
Why?
Because you're not even submitting to me to accept my last name. We're not rich. You don't have nothing tied to your name. We both coming in this with nothing but our hands out to be joined as one. And you saying you want to keep your last name and then merge it with mine.
But what if she is rich?
No. I'm not even still. Like, you gotta be able to accept my last name because we're becoming one, not a hyphenated name. Because then it just looks like you just didn't submit yourself in a way where it's like you being humble and you take it and you becoming me because you're not part of your family no more. You part of what we got going. We are on. It's like a new level. So when you building a house, you don't just build one level and then that's it.
That's true.
You don't lay cement and then put up some wood around it and say, oh, there's a house.
That is true.
No, you got to, that's just a platform, a start. So how are we going to have a family and then you name the kids after me and give them my last name, but you really don't have my last name? Make that make sense?
Well, I mean, let's let everybody else decide if that makes sense. Y'all let us know what y'all think. And don't forget to follow, like, comment, subscribe before we forget the podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.